What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. In today's video, I'm going to talk about some things that I think that Funcom could do to really keep Conan Exiles going strong and alive and fun and enjoyable and challenging. If you're enjoying this content, please leave a like on this video and subscribe for future ones. Clicking the bell will notify you when I upload a video. Now I'm going to treat this like a top 5. However, I want you guys to understand that this is my top 5. This is my opinion on things that I think they could do to keep the game alive, to keep it challenging, to keep players coming back. And if you keep players coming back, you have the ability to sell more DLC because you have a higher player base, so on and so forth. So again, keep in mind, these are just things that I would like to see added to the game or changed about certain mechanics that we already have in the game. Now, if you've got something that you'd like to see added to the game, leave it in the comment section below. And if I hit a mark with you guys today and you enjoy one of my suggestions, go ahead and let me know which one that is in the comment section below. You could say, hey, number 4 was my favorite, or number 1 was my favorite, or hey, I really think they need to do this instead. So starting off with number 5, the Purge. The Purge needs to be something that comes more often. It absolutely has to be something that comes more often. I think they should make it so that there's more ways for us to gain points in order to fill that Purge meter. It's a large part of the game, and I feel like it doesn't happen enough, especially if you're a player who is casual and doesn't play a whole lot. I know players that have been playing the game for 6 months or 8 months that have not gotten a Purge because they just can't put the amount of time into the game that is required for you to receive a Purge. Especially when there's this mechanic that takes points away from you. I don't think that mechanic should even be involved. And honestly, I think this is the easiest of all the changes that I'm going to recommend today. They just need to go in, add some point places where you can earn more points to have the Purge come, and just take the mechanic out where the Purge meter shrinks. That's my number 5. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is something that I've actually heard other YouTubers say, and I've heard it in the community as well. Jade PG being one of them. If you haven't checked out his channel, make sure you go over and check out Jade's channel. He's got some great stuff going on over there. However, number 4 is like roving bandits, right? Or roving exiles. So it's a camp or a group of exiles that moves around the map. Something that keeps the map from being stagnant and always the same, right? You never know where you're going to run into this group of maybe 8 or maybe 10 or maybe 15 different NPCs, right? This is just a group that spawns at a certain location and walks the distance of the exiled lands, just walking around. Now, I don't think that these NPCs should be able to damage bases or carry any really exciting loot or anything like that. I do think that when they see you, they should attack, and it should be something that is difficult to overcome, right? This should be something that is not like, oh yeah, I saw the roving bandits, I wiped them out and walked away. This should be something that's a mechanic of, hey, you know what, I was just mining away some stone, all of a sudden the roving bandits came up behind me, and you're in the middle of what feels like a boss fight. And what I feel like that's going to alleviate is the fact that the exiled lands feel stagnant. You know where the boss rhino is. You know where the named fighter that you want spawns. You know where all the different loot chests are. Let's put something in the exiled lands that is going to be totally random and totally unexpected for anyone in the exiled lands. Let's make it exciting. Let's take that stagnation away, and let's put something in there that just totally changes the dynamic. The exiled lands are meant to be dangerous, and I think this adds a layer of danger. It also adds a layer of mystery to the exiled lands, where you just don't know if on your daily run to go get iron, you are going to be attacked by 15 really hard to beat bandits. Number 3, conquer zones. Now, I've heard a couple of things similar to this from different people in the community, and it's something that could be fun for both PvE and for PvP. Now, I don't normally focus on PvP stuff because I'm really a novice in that area, guys. It's not my strong suit. However, I have heard of kind of variations of this talked about by the PvP community, and I think it's a really cool idea. So, a conquer zone. So, let's take just a village. Let's say it's a village, and you go in there, you have a certain amount of NPCs. They may be different. In fact, I think they should be different. You may have a boss in there. I think there should be a boss. So you kind of get this random group of hodgepodged together NPCs and bosses, and it's always a random roll of the dice on what you're going to find in there. So it's going to be some sort of epic battle. And you go in, you wipe it out, and you have to stay there for a certain amount of time in order to call that zone conquered, right? And then if it's PvP and there's other players in the area, you also have to conquer them, right? So nobody else can be in this area, in this zone for you to conquer it. However, once it's conquered, you hold it for a certain amount of time. And during that amount of time, you get some sort of payout. Now, you guys have heard his name mentioned on my channel before. I'm going to bring up Hosev. He has the UI mod that I use on most of my videos, but he also has a mod called EEWA, Endgame Extended Weapon Arsenal. And in that mod, he actually has this very thing. He is working on or has implemented this very thing. It's a conquered zone. Once you conquer that zone, you earn certain resources and different things that are just delivered directly to your inventory. And it works in a function just like I mentioned, where if there's players in the area, you have to defeat the players. If there's NPCs, you have to defeat the NPCs. So this is totally something that I think Funcom could do very easily, and I don't think Hosev would mind if they talked to him about the idea and got some insight into what he's doing and then revamped it, threw it out in the Funcom way. They could even hire him on to help them code it. I think that would be fabulous. They've done that in the past, and Hosev is a phenomenal modder. My number 2 goes with the intro scene to the game, guys. So in the intro scene to the game, when you are watching Razma get pulled off the cross, you see the sandstorm incoming. And what comes in with the sandstorm but sand beasts? We need sand beasts in-game in more sections than just these sand-swept ruins. Let's put them in the sandstorm. And I know there's a mod that's working on this or that does this already. It's called Sandstorm EX, and it is done by Hades and Multigun. And it's really, really cool. It has sand beasts or monsters that will spawn inside the sandstorm. I've had a chance to play with it in the past. It's very, very cool, and I fell in love with the idea. However, it's only on PC, and that brings me to a different point in the video. No, this is not my number 1. But it's something that I think Funcom should look at in addition to everything else that I'm saying. We need to figure out a way to bridge the gap from console and PC. Now, whether that is the ability to add mods on console or whether Funcom systematically goes through and picks certain features from mods that they can bring into the game. I know that they don't want to take that away from modders. However, guys, you have a absolutely phenomenal modding community. Talk to them, please. I am sure that they would either happily say, please take my mod and put it in the game, or you can come up with some sort of financial agreement to add that mod into the game. I don't know necessarily what makes sense here. However, if there's one key takeaway, if Funcom, if you guys are watching this, if there's one key takeaway I could say I want you to hear, it's this. Please just start the conversation. Start the conversation with your modding group. See what comes of it. If nothing comes of it, then you tried. If something comes of it, then you tried and you got something really cool out of it in the end. That's it. That's all I want to see happen is a conversation start. Now that brings me to number one, and this one, if you took everything that I've said so far, crumpled it up and threw it in the trash, that's perfectly fine if you do this one. This one, I think, would not only revitalize the game, it would keep it challenging, it would keep it exciting, it would keep people coming back, and yes, in turn, having a larger pool of people playing your game to buy future DLCs. I don't have a problem with DLCs. I think they're great. I like to buy them. I love when they come out. I love to showcase them on my channel. Let's keep the pool of people that feel the same way that I do playing the game. So my number one, the moment you've all been waiting for, is a season. Seasons are huge in games across all platforms, across all different game genres, the whole 9 yards. So what would a Conan Exiles season look like in my mind? I think it's pretty easy. So if you followed a few simple things, you could have a really successful season. Number one, I think spawn locations change. And I'm talking about NPC spawns, I'm talking about named NPC spawns. Those things just kind of move around. Let's say it's getting colder in the exiled lands, and so NPCs move around. I'm not saying you have to pick up a whole camp and move it, right? Like Asgard can stay where it is, but maybe Anastira the Seer doesn't spawn in Asgard anymore. Instead, she spawns at the 3 towers, something like that, where things are moving around. People are moving from location to location, keeping things alive in the exiled lands. Let's take the stagnation out. New limited weapon skins. And I think this is important. This is something that is lacking in the game right now, is a limited offer. So a time period, a 3-month time period where you can go in game, you can earn these skins, you can beat this dungeon, you can beat this boss, and you can get these specific skins of weapons. Once it's over, the door is shut. You are not getting that seasonal weapon skin anymore. I think those should rotate every 3 months. In addition to that, I had this really neat idea about a single dungeon that would be included in the season. And what would happen in that dungeon is during the first month, you would have access to a portion of that dungeon, the first third of that dungeon. Then in the second month, you get access to the second third of that dungeon. So you go down, you beat the first third, there's a boss at the end of that third. You can't go any further. You've gotten everything that you can run that dungeon as much as you want until the next month comes around. Then the second area opens up. You can run the first section, then you add on the second section, you've got another boss to beat, and then you're done with it there, and you wait until the third month. On the third month, a third area of the dungeon opens up. You're able to go that far and defeat that. And they could even take that across the seasons as well. If they wanted to do a total of 12 sections of that dungeon every year, they could do that. That would be something that's super cool, and they could fit that right into the weapon skins, the limited weapon skins that I was talking about earlier on. Or if 12 different segments of a dungeon is too much, one a month for the entire year, then do 4 for the entire year and change it once a quarter. So for the first 3 months, you have access to the first part of the dungeon. The second 3 months, the second part, the third 3, quarter to quarter to quarter, one section opens up for a total of 4 sections. And then the next year, just reset it. Do a whole new revamp. So you're only doing one dungeon, but you're releasing it over a year's period of time. Lastly, they could add journey steps to the season. So journey steps drive us to do things that we wouldn't normally do in game, but they give us some direction, they give us some focus, and at the end they give us the satisfaction of checking that off of our list. So as a season, I think it's important to add certain journey steps into the season. So we're talking about something that is regularly changing in the exiled lands, something that's moving around, different things are happening because of the season. Add some journey steps to the season so that you can unlock that. And I don't care if you give, anything away with that. I don't care if it lasts past the season. Just give us something to accomplish during that period of time. Now, I think that you'll notice there was a general theme to everything that I covered here. It's all about creating a challenge and creating something that's not stagnant, something that's moving and changing and evolving. And I think this is really what Funcom needs to be focused on. And I really feel like if they can take the stagnation away and they can add a challenge and they can add difference, their game is going to be much, much more enjoyable for a much longer period of time. I don't feel like making bosses easier, dropping health points on bosses, increasing health points for players, decreasing health points for thralls is the correct direction to get the kind of response that I'm talking about here. Sure, fine, go ahead and do that, but you've got to change something in-game to make people excited to come back to the exiled lands and spend time in it. And honestly, I'm perfectly okay with Funcom saying we're going to couple the season with a DLC that you pay for, or with something that you pay for as well, and it's limited to just that, or whatever it is. I'm okay with them monetizing that part of the game if it's going to give me a new and exciting experience. And you see this across platforms, across games, everything, where seasons are driving players back to a game. So they may take a month break from it, but then they come right back when the new season comes out. That is a new and exciting feature that is in video games nowadays. So I'd like to see that come to Conan Exiles. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. I'll catch you next time. Peace. I'd like to give a big shout out to all my YouTube members and Twitch subscribers. Y'all are absolute legends. I'd like to thank everyone for their continued support, likes, comments, and general awesomeness. If you're not subscribed, you could start your free trial today and cancel at any time. Clicking the bell is highly recommended so you get notified on my next upload. There's a couple of videos on the screen. You can follow me over there to continue the conversation.